Hello there. Merry Christmas here from Billy Ho Sports. It's Christmas Eve. We've got a couple of days before Boxing Day, and that's going to be Santa Anita Park. Big day of racing out there. I've already made a couple of videos previewing the Malibu Stakes in a video. Then I put a combination of the La Brea and the Lafitte Pinkai together. Method to my madness. This video is going to cover the three turf races. Race 7, San Gabriel. Race 9, Mathis Mile. And race 11 is the American Oaks. Well, the reason why, obviously, three turf races. Also, there is an all turf pick three bet for these races. So we're going to put these races together. At the end, we'll stick around. At the end, we'll be making several pick three bets. And as always, it is free to subscribe to my channel. That like button is also free and it's always on for your clicking pleasure. So get that done for me. And let's get right into it. We're going to go jump into race number 7. That's San Gabriel. That's 9 furlongs on the turf for 3-year-olds and up. Let's get into the past performances. So just a caveat before we get started. There are 3 races and 2 of them are massive chalky races. So we'll probably have a potential to do some singling, and this is going to be one of them. Like I said, mile and an eighth on the turf. It's grade 2 San Gabriel, 3-year-olds and upward, and we are going a mile and an eighth on the turf. So we start way on the end. Not going to be really much of a turn there, but it is right at that, just at the notch around that final turn. So pretty decent distance to travel. And obviously you can see Prime Power, Johannes, 174, almost 20 points better than Easter. So that's going to be your overwhelming favorite. So should we spend a lot of time on this? Well, we'll spend a few minutes because you never know. Favorites get beat all the time. Astronomer from Simon Callahan has got some pretty solid numbers. 3 straight grade 2 appearances, bookended by third place finishes. So chased was 7th to Johannes in the City of Hope grade 2. So that kind of gives you his standing. Blinkers come off. Outside chance to crack the board, I'd say. Number 2, Easter, is a closer, and that's from Philip D'Amato. Antonio Frigiu gets the mount. Uh, and what Easter's been trying to do for the last several races. The Seabiscuit, obviously did not go up against Johannes, but the 3 previous to that, City of Hope, Ed Reed, Shoemaker, Mile. Shoemaker Mile was at Santa Anita. So if you go back to Santa Anita, the previous 4 races or 3 races, you have a San Gabriel, last year's winner of the San Gabriel, defending champion. So uh, the gelding does have that going for him. But you can see 3 straight races. Johannes dominates, and Easter's just not really threatening. Mild rallies no better than 5th in any of those 3 races. That's major cause for concern. So moving on, this one is an interesting one. I will include this underneath as a possible trifecta filler. It's George Papa. I forgot how to pronounce it. It's Papa Prodromo, somewhere in that neighborhood. But Georgie P sends this one with Frankie Dettori on board. Frankie Dettori always dangerous on the turf, no matter what track he's at. So this one in particular, I think he'll be dangerous at. This horse won at going a mile and a quarter at Santa Anita in the John Henry, that grade 2 there. So that's pretty good. And then had a couple other decent finishes along the way. Seabiscuit down here, the Lure. These are way back in 2023. But Cabo Spirit, 30-1 morning line. Frankie Dettori is always dangerous on the turf. So Cabo Spirit's one I wouldn't mind using. Ran in the BC turf. So you had Rebels Romance and a few of those other ones. this year. So didn't fare very well, but did set the pace. So that was going a mile and a half, which I know this is a mile and an eighth. So should you would think the horse is going to be up closer to the lead for a little longer. Now here's Johannes. What's to say? Three triple digit numbers right at 95, 90, nothing but 90, mid 90s all the way. Several wins in a row. The American, grade three, grade one, grade two, grade two. The BC Mile, second by just 3/4 of a length behind More Than Looks. So that was a bold bid and was denied. But the BC Turf Mile, I mean, Johannes is just really just unbelievable for the best horse Tim Yakteen's probably ever had. Umberto Rispoli will ride once again. Tough to beat this horse. Tough to go against anywhere. Escape Artist. I think Dicey Mochara. I did have a little bit of interest in when I was looking at it, but just because it had a 106 down here. So it's capable. 97 in the Ed Reed, finishing second to Johannes. So it does have a few places. Del Mar handicap, second place behind Gold Phoenix. That's a mile and 3/8. So you can see where I'm going with this. The mile and a half, Hollywood Turf Cup, you could probably toss that race. This is nowhere near 12 furlongs. So Dicey Mochara could offer some value as a long shot underneath. Now we have Mi Hermano Ramon, and that's Mark Glatt, Hector Barrios. Big win in the Seabiscuit. Second by a neck, previous race in the Lure. So this horse is on a good run right now, 93, 94. If it moves forward on the third start off the layoff, we could possibly see a horse doing some damage. 5-1 morning line. So this one's definitely in the mix. 911 Turbo, Juan Hernandez. What can you say? 103 for the third place in the Hollywood Gold Cup, going a mile and a half. Not much before that. So I don't think I'll have interest in 911 Turbo. Seal Team, I will also. I think that horse is going to be tough, even though back-to-back fifth place finishes doesn't really say so. Only beaten a length in the last start, though. It was just five. Uh, it was just a fifth place finish. So Dick Mandela, Flavian Pratt gets the upgrade at jockey. So ultimately, the four horse is going to go on top. 3-star best bet, whatever, for the win. Then I will put 2, 7, and 9, and then plus the three Cabo Spirits. So 2, 3, 7, and 9 underneath. Leg one is on every ticket would be likely to single the 4. But if I play other horses in the first leg, I would have the 7 and the 9 in there. I would probably go maybe 2, 3, 4, 7, 9 to cover everything, but probably just the 7 and the 9, 4, 7, 9, something like that. So let's jump over to the Mathis Mile. That's race number 9. And obviously, it's a mile on the turf. And so this one is for 3-year-olds. We start with number 1, King of Gosford, which is probably on paper the best. 6-5 favorite. Flavian Pratt gets the mount, and first, second, and thirds just for the foreseeable. Summertime, La Jolla, Eddie D, grade 2, Hollywood Derby, second just by 3/4 of a length, going the mile and an eighth in the Hollywood Derby. So this one definitely going to be one going on the ticket because this is the middle race, and it's going to be the one we're spreading. So late bid in the Hollywood Derby for second, 96 speed figure for King of Gosford. Number 2, a Tutland. That one is John Sheriff's. Hector Barrios rides. Pretty good one here, 92 speed figure in the last one, even though it was a 7th place finish. So kind of on the outside is third in prime power, but the Twilight Derby winner over Stay Hot and Cathal and another horse that's in this race. I forget the third horse, but big win, grade 2 victory. You can't deny that at this track, at this distance. So that's that alone ought to give you some encouragement in using that underneath. Curlin's Chaos, kind of a known horse to me, but I'm not going to use them just too far outside. I'm ignoring that 106 win at Del Mar down here. I think that's more of an anomaly. Every other race he's ran has been in the mid 80s, so maybe a couple of upper 80s. So I don't see a big spike again. Senoise, that's Philip D'Amato, Antonio Frigiu, 6-1. This one doesn't look nearly as good on paper. The one question I had, I think we'll get right into it, is why Frigiu moved off of Stay Hot, which is the 5 horse. You can see he's ridden this horse every single time. The only thing I can possibly think of, he can't possibly think that this horse, that Senoise, is better than Stay Hot. I think he's more loyal to Philip D'Amato as his trainer. That's the only thing I can think of. Because I would think if he had his choice, he would go with Stay Hot. Stay Hot doesn't get any damage done to it. It gets top jockey Juan Hernandez, 7-2 morning line. Can't beat it. So many good finishes in grade 2, grade 1 events here recently. So that one has got to be under consideration. Then you got Heart Headed, and this is Georgie P as well. Frankie Dettori on the turf. Wouldn't mind using it. Not a good finish in the Hollywood Derby, just outclassed, really 12-1. It would be just like a underneath use. Wouldn't go on the ticket for the win. But you never know. Dettori has surprised with higher. So Heart Headed in there. Call sign 7 is a no go. Cathel is another one of those 12-1 morning line like Heart Headed that's in there. Ran a 90, third, just has some decent numbers, close to the winning average for John Sadler, Joel Rosario. Then you have Lord Bullington. This horse, spoiler alert, I'm picking to win the race. Lord Bullington caught my interest last year down here, I believe, going a mile at Santa Anita for the win. Then again at a mile in the Eddie Logan, Mathis mile. So he's got 2 wins going a mile and at Santa Anita going this distance and tracking some heavy pace here and then not so heavy pace here. So can win doing it 2 different ways. You can see the 94, 93 chasing the hotly contested pace and then takes the lead coming home. Then you have the 70s and then the 100 coming home for the strong kick on the lesser pace race to get the win. I like this horse, Mike McCarthy, Umberto Rispoli. I think 15-1 is a really good price and one that's run against a lot tougher. You got Trickery. You got 4th place in this Transylvania Grade 3 behind Neat, Cugino, and Laginos. Those 3 horses, all recent winners, all big-time turf horses. So I think he can beat this field. And it's a long shot play, but it is one that I'm going for. So uh, obviously, the 1 and the 4, King of Gosford, Stay Hot, using on the ticket. The number 9, Lord Bullington, is going on the ticket. He's back to the track. He wins at this distance. Average pace, I think, will keep him closer. The number 2, Atitlan, is 8-1. That's nice value with a horse with ability. So something like I'm not really sure exactly how I'll go for a single race bet. I'll wait for the tote board to decide because if I like the 9 to win, I'm probably going to go win place on Lord Bullington and look for double digit odds, and then maybe try to work him into a trifecta with the 1 and the 4. Those 3 horses, maybe the 2 underneath, something of that nature. But that is your middle race, and so we're going to jump down here and hit the last race, the race number 11, the Grade 1 American Oaks. And this one is going to be a fun one, folks. It is a mile and a quarter on the downhill turf. And if you can see the starting position where my cross is right here, it's way over here off the turf, which is this kind of a auxiliary path here. So we're going to start way up here. and then it's a mini half turn, and then right here there's some dirt they got to cross over, and then they cross over just a 50 foot of dirt or something, and then they're on the straightaway on the turf. Then it's a lap around to the finish. So mile and a quarter, American Oaks. So I wouldn't call it something that I would equate to like Kentucky Downs, but there'll be a couple horses in here that came out of Kentucky Downs with good races that you could consider. So starting with Omaha Girl, I don't think I'm going to have interest in that one. Speed figures are not even close. Now, Sakura Blossom is a closer. Leonard Powell, Luis Saez, 30 to 1 morning line. That's big odds for a horse that's run a lot of grade one, grade two, grade three competition with decent results with weaker jockeys. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say what this horse is going to do against these, but it has got a sharp workout. So don't be surprised if this horse comes in late picking off tired horses and crashes the board at 30 to 1 or whatever, 25 to 1. So Sakura Blossom, uh, take a look at Maduro, second by a nose to Watchtower, who's in this race, second by a length and a half to Ice Cream, you scream, I scream, I scream. We all scream for ice cream, right? Two straight races for ice cream over Maduro, third place, second place. So the 98 was the big figure in the Del Mar Oaks Grade One. Pretty impressive run. Got to within a length, but couldn't get home. Then drops down to the Grade Three Autumn Miss and has it by a half length down the stretch and was just nailed at the wire by a nose. So a solid horse you have to consider. And the next one is Kathy in Marissa. This one's very good. Got a win out here at going a mile at Santa Anita. Did fare well. Won a big race going a mile and 5/16, which is a little further, just a 16th further than we're going here. But this one was at Kentucky Downs, which has a different configuration. So I don't know that the two are coinciding in any way, but it is just interesting to note. Frankie Dettori's riding. Catherine Marissa, you have to consider at least the second best horse. You can see second in Brian Power. Watchtower is one that did get the win in the Autumn Miss, but I think that was more just a product of a good rally. And I don't think that this horse can compete with the top dogs here. So if you wanted to use underneath, I wouldn't be mad at you. So strutting is one that I'm going to consider 15 to 1 underneath. Mike McCarthy brought this horse over from Great Britain, where he's run mile and a half, mile and a quarter twice, and just middling results in the Great Britain market. But like this isn't this course isn't like a Great Britain type of course or like Kentucky Downs configuration. But this horse did come to the U.S. and ran at Del Mar November 29th going a mile and just missed by half a length, closing hard, just a little late, was just too far back. But it was a really, really strong close. So I think with an improvement off the second start since the layoff, this horse can compete. Sired by Frankel, one of the all-time greatest European turf horses around. So you can see the sire production index, 4.57. That's monster huge. Can bred to run all day, 9.6 average wind distance. So distance is not a matter. It's going to be closing. So definitely a horse you don't want to kick out of your bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. So She Feels Pretty. This is the one that they have to beat. The Monster 102 in the QE2 Cup at Keeneland, won by 6 going away. Just super impressive. Was the favorite, but she showed out. Second by a neck, just so close in the Lake Placid at Saratoga. Then a mile and 3/16 at the Belmont Oaks Invitational at Aqueduct. Just didn't quite get there. Second by head, and then finished third to Cinderella's Dream, who's a huge star in the 3-year-old turf ranks. So Baltic Fire. I was actually not going to look at much of the rest of them, but Chitalis, I have to mention. Mark Glatt's taking the blinkers off. He's getting Flavian Pratt to ride, and just bounced around between him and Grant Forrester, training this summer and fall. But the figures just aren't there for a front running horse. I would think that the figures would be faster. She is pretty fast on the front end, and can go, but hasn't been able to. The Alabama Grade One, with which she finished sixth, was not the best effort. Um, does have some good finishes under one of them under Dettori. So I'm going to have a hard time, even though as much as I like Gunrunner progenies and Flavian Pratt, I can't go there. But this one's interesting, and this is Ms. Jan, and this is Mike McCarthy, Umberto Rispoli. This one's kind of an up and comer. Ran over a couple of races in Dubai before coming over here. Ran second in the UAE Oaks, going a mile and 3/16. So that's pretty solid. Then finally broke the maiden here at Santa Anita, going a mile. So we are stretching out here, but this horse has my interest. Just sired by Justify, and a horse that seems to be improving with every race. The fourth place finish did lose to Vibes, but I think this horse is better than Vibes. So I'll use it underneath to fill out some trifectas and whatnot. But that's the field for your race 11, which is the third leg of the turf pick three. So to put a bow on race 11, obviously she feels pretty hard to pick against her. So she's going to be a key horse. The best chance to upset her is if you want to use the 4, Kathy and Marissa, because she nearly beat Cinderella's Dream. If not, the top Cinderella is, like I said, Cinderella's Dream. If not the top turf 3-year-old filly in the country, kind of a niche there, but still. And number 6, Strutting, handles this distance. Second start off the layoff I mentioned. Ms. Yan, what I failed to mention when we were looking at her was the fact that she's only gone a mile and a 16th, but her average win distance is almost 8 on both sides, 7.8, 7.9. I think this horse wants more distance. I think it closed to within 2 3/4 lengths in the last race, going a mile, and you're going to have an extra 2 furlongs to add into that close. So that was one of the main reasons I like the 11 as an underneath use. Sired by Justify also win at Santa Anita. So, and the number 3 Maduro is obviously an underneath play. So this one's a pretty wide open race I mean, not wide open, but a pretty open field. Like there's 13 horses. So we can spread out and get a decent trifecta here, even if the 8 wins. So if you key the 8 on top and then use that with 3, 4, 6, 11 for a 50-cent trifecta, I think that's going to cost you $18. So by doing that, you'll have yourself a nice chance to get in there. Now, obviously, we got to get to these turf pick threes. All turf pick 3. It's races 7, 9, and 11. So I'm going to start out by saying you can have 2 singles. Bookended the race 7, single the 4, Johannes. Race 11, single the 8, She Feels Pretty. And then the first one would be just clicking the all button underneath, which is 9. So you can do $1 pick 3 for all 8 for $9. Then what you can do on a couple other tickets is change things up, single the 4 in leg 1, and then play like this one is going to be a little bit more expensive, but it's a $25 ticket. So you single the 4, and then you go leg 2. You spread 5 deep, 1, 2, 5, 6, 9. Then you spread 5 deep again, 3, 4, 8, 10, 11, and that's $25 ticket. if you want to spend that much, because if it does come in chalk on the bookends, uh, you're really going to be hurting for some profit, even no matter what comes in the middle leg. But I think if we that's why I think uh, you should do more than just single the bookends. Although if you hit that all button and a big long shot comes in leg two, you could turn a nice profit for $9. So another one that would cost you $15 is play the 247 on top. Then you got your 1, 2, 5, 6, 9 in leg two. Then you single your 8 in the third leg. That's going to cost you 15. I'm not going to need to spread in the first leg as much. I mean, you could still single the 4 if you want to, and then you could go. Uh, you could spread different ways for that last 2 legs. Then you have another ticket that's a $9 ticket, which is 247. Then you can shrink it down to 159 in leg two, and then single the 8 for another $9 ticket. So that's going to do it for the show. Please have a Merry Christmas. Say hello to your family, uh, and be on the lookout for not only Santa flying over the chimneys tops tonight, but more YouTube content from Billy Ho Sports. I don't know if I'll have anything for Boxing Day, but you've got 3 videos for Boxing Day, including pick threes. All the races have been covered, so check out those 3 videos, and then have a great Christmas, and we'll catch you on the flip side.